Welcome everyone to another episode of OpenUp at the Workplace. My name is Lizzy and today I'm here with Marta. She's our head of people and thank you for being here today. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and this month's theme is about lifestyle. And because of that, I have this question for you. We're curious to how can HR integrate well-being in the everyday culture of the company?
Right, thanks Lizzy. Nice to be here again. And thanks for your question. Well, I guess a few things come to my mind, but the first thing that, gets triggered is how can HR help? Mm-hmm. I think for me, a key point in this conversation around well-being, around lifestyle, is that this is not an HR topic. Mm-hmm. It's really a topic that concerns the entire company and of course, the leadership and the management. And I think that even when we think about these topics and we frame them in our minds as an HR responsibility or something that HR needs to change, that's usually where it goes, let's say, wrong, or it goes less well, that when it's presented and positioned as a collective responsibility. We see that all the time with engagement initiatives. I've seen that in different companies. When something comes from the community, it has far more reach than when it's something coming, let's say, from HR structurally or officially. So that would be the first thing that comes to my mind. It's something that we all do together. The community does together.
So we should shift the focus of being it an HR topic to a shared responsibility for everyone in the organization.
Yeah, indeed. That's what I think. And I mean, of course, at the end of the day, HR will have a certain degree of accountability and responsibility on these topics. But we all have influence, right? And we all can change it and create a better culture and create a more sort of well-being aware culture. Mm-hmm. And of course, especially the leaders, they play a huge role in leading by example and really creating this space for those topics. And I mean, at the same time, something else that comes to my mind is, of course, this is also a hard topic in a lot of companies nowadays. And I think especially for us as well, we are a startup. We don't have all the resources in the world. So I recognize it can also be a challenge to really prioritize well-being all the time when you're also trying to do a lot with very limited resources. So I think it's also important to acknowledge that and take that as the starting points on where you want to go and what you can do.
Yeah. So it's a challenge for different companies, also ourselves. Do you maybe have some examples of initiatives from not only the HR team, but also in other areas of the company?
Yeah, of course. So to give an example that is more sort of HR or company-led, let's say, is so we realized that we were, let's say, missing a little bit moments of connection. And that is something that we had a lot in the company, let's say, when I joined 2 years ago. Since then, we've grown, we've changed, we've moved offices, a lot has happened. And we realized that we were lacking that a little bit. So we've created, for example, a new meeting cadence and really creating more spaces where people can come together, have fun, share time together when it's not about work. And of course, is that alone on itself enough to really create a well-being culture? Well, not really, but it's a step. And it's, for example, what we're focusing on right now, because we observed, okay, that is where the need is right now. And it's also something that we can really influence and can have a big impact. So that's an example more from the company. And then if I think about also community examples, we have a colleague who is also a CrossFit trainer. So he also started organizing CrossFit classes with colleagues and it's been very popular. People are really liking it and joining. There is also a weekly running group. It's also organized and led by colleagues who sort of agree on each other. Okay, let's go running on this day of the week. These are things that are also very nice to see from HR, that it's actually the people wanting to do these things themselves. And then as a company, we can always step in and say, okay, we'll help with sponsoring these parts. At least it's initiatives that we know people want, right? It's not something that we're sort of engineering, but it's coming from the community.
Yeah, great examples. And I notice myself that these weekly meetings, like these more get-togethers that are organized, are having a positive effect on me.
And it's good to know.
and I really like to see these initiatives, and it's great that the company supports that and gives space for us to go to this CrossFit lesson if you want to join. So that's nice to see.
Nice. Thanks, Lizzy.
Yeah, thank you, Marta.